This is your hometown news leader, WDBJ 7.
Two major stories are dominating headlines tonight. Road conditions around the region are changing by the minute. We have reporters live watching the deep freeze develop. And the man who used to be Virginia's governor is now charged with federal crimes. We're breaking down how we got to this point and where he goes from here.
I repeat again, emphatically, that I did nothing illegal.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chris Hurst. We have a lot to get to tonight, and right now the region is freezing over as temperatures continue to drop. The slippery conditions are setting into the Roanoke Valley, but it was a dangerous day around the state. This driver lost control and crashed in Alexandria, but we'll be okay. Look at that video. In our region, the roads are getting worse as the night goes on. Let's catch up with our crews standing by live around the area. We have reporters in parts of Roanoke County, Botetourt County, and the New River Valley. Let's start with WDBJ 7's Nadine Mazer. She is live at the intersection of 419 and 220, where roads are getting icy. Nadine.
Well, Chris, crews have been working hard all night to keep those major roadways like 581, 81, 419 and even 220 clear. The biggest problems that we're seeing are with those secondary streets and even parking lots, one of which I'm standing in right now. Just take a look at how shiny it is. This is all ice that is frozen over from the snow that was here earlier. It is now turned to ice because these temperatures are getting lower as we head into the night. Now we're going to pop up some video here. Garce Mill Road was closed earlier today because cars were literally flying into ditches. The snow that was along there quickly turned into ice and made it hard for drivers to get through. Tow truck drivers tell me it's been a very busy night for them. They've spent much of their time towing these cars out of the ditches, and people who live right off of Brambleton say they know better than to drive in the area when they see conditions like we're seeing tonight.
Just like you see it, I mean, it gets slick. I mean, all these side roads and everything gets slick. The same as Mud Lake. I mean, it gets slick. I had to detour that way, and I parked up the road there, so I didn't have to try coming through this, because I mean, I already knew what it was going to be like.
Again, now just take a look at how I see it here, as I can just literally glaze my feet over this, and this whole parking lot earlier was covered with snow, these low temperatures causing it to be ice. VDOT just sent us an email a few minutes ago into our newsroom saying drivers should avoid getting on the roads at all costs as we head on into the morning hours. Those crews will be plowing and laying more salt into those morning hours, but again, still very dangerous. You can't even really see it unless you're on it, and sometimes it's just too late and you may end up in a ditch like we were seeing in that video earlier tonight. We're live tonight in Roanoke. I'm Nadine Mazer, WDBJ 7.
The Allegheny Highlands had its fair share of snow, and it's still causing problems on all of the highways in that area. WDBJ 7's David Kaplan just got back from there. He joins us live in Fincastle in Botetourt County. So David, how are the roads in those higher elevations?
Well, Chris, if we really think about it, this was sort of the tale of two evenings. We're standing out here around 5 o'clock saying that the major roads like 220 are doing fine, but as you can see, things changed.
Around 3 p.m., this was the worst of it on the primary roads.
Today, we haven't had any problems.
Here at Falling Springs in northern Allegheny County, the snow mostly made for better scenery than a source of headaches.
Got a little slick when you got a little farther up the mountain, but I think they've done a wonderful job.
Up at the Homestead Resort in nearby Hot Springs, Bath County, today's snow meant the busiest day of the ski season. The brave souls of the Allegheny Highlands were happy about the first snow.
Does it ever get old when it gets snowy up here?
No, I love it. It's awesome.
In Covington, this was the scene in the afternoon. Now everywhere, this is what it looked like 4 hours later. Conditions deteriorated quickly and everywhere on every road.
We're pretty much used to it. Ain't too bad.
But no matter how accustomed you are to driving in this stuff, the real concern everywhere is ice, something even drivers in the Allegheny Highlands never want to mess with.
Now, when photojournalist Nick Beatty and I were making our way up to Bath County, Route 220 was pretty clear, but the plows, if you saw at the beginning of this live shot, the plows are going up and down Route 220. And just to give you an idea of how big of a concern this ice is, all of the school systems in the Allegheny Highlands are off tomorrow, people not wanting to take that risk. For now, we're live in Botetourt County. David Kaplan, WDBJ 7.
Moving southwest to the New River Valley, WDBJ 7's Orlando Salinas is live in Blacksburg. So, Orly, what are you seeing now?
What we're not seeing a lot of right now in the NRV is a whole lot of snow. Let's talk about what's going on with our neighbors down the road in Giles County. heading down 460 west, if that's the way you're going. Snow came down earlier tonight. Not a whole lot of that stuff. Jenkins said it looked like a couple of inches. I'd say he's probably right. A little further down in Giles County, closer to the West Virginia line, that's Coalfield country, and it is colder down there. Closer to the Giles-Montgomery County line, there were a few snowplows out on the road. Folks around here were waiting for several inches of snow, but that never happened. We saw the Pembroke police chief and asked him how the night's been going. Here's the chief's take.
Came in about 3 or 4 different little squalls today, and then this afternoon around 5:30, it began to snow pretty good, and as you can see, it's picked up quite a bit. We've been really lucky. There hadn't been any accidents, maybe 1 or 2 throughout the county today.
There's been tons of salt brine spread over lots of local roads, and it looks like it's made a huge difference so far. Chief Sadler, the chief you heard from right now, said that he hasn't had a single accident in Pembroke, and he's hoping folks will stay in tonight. We're live in Blacksburg. Orlando Salinas, WDBJ7.
The snow hit hard in some places. It missed in others. Lynchburg was one of those misses. It snowed for a few hours straight, but it did not amount to much. Despite the light snow, crews kept treating the roads throughout the day. The Virginia Department of Transportation is warning drivers, as Nadine, David, and Orly have told us, to watch out for ice throughout that area, throughout all areas across our viewing region this evening and tomorrow morning. So who got the most snow today? We're talking inches here. Chief Meteorologist Robin Reed has a few totals. Lots of it out there, just not in any of the cities, the big cities.
That's right. And that is certainly an issue because they too were in the warning, and a warning should have at least delivered 4 inches of snow. And by all indications, this one was going to come together nicely, and it just flat did not stick. If you look at the radar right now, you'd say, well, that's not very impressive, but the truth is, in the New River Valley, some of those little streaky bands are producing some pretty decent snow. In a few minutes, I'll take a closer look at that. So who are the hits? Well, as David Kaplan reported, anybody in the Allegheny Highlands saw quite a bit of snow, anywhere from 5 to 6 to 7 inches, even in Gala and Botetourt County, picking up about 4. But just brown grass and wet roads for much of the day in Roanoke City before finally picking up an inch after 6 o'clock, about 1/2 of an inch in the city of Lynchburg officially, but a lot of that has gone away as well. So watery conditions right now, icy conditions first thing in the morning, and that's because these temperatures are taking a rock hard plunge down into the single digits and teens throughout the WDBJ7 viewing area.
New at 11, former Governor Bob McDonnell is responding to the federal charges against him and his wife. Today, prosecutors got an indictment against the couple on more than a dozen charges, including defrauding the citizens of Virginia and lying to federal investigators. With Maureen McDonnell by his side, he adamantly denied he broke any laws when he took gifts and cash from businessman Johnny Williams.
I will use every available resource and advocate that I have for as long as it takes to fight and prevail against these false allegations and the unjust overreach of the federal government.
Tonight, his lawyers filed court documents saying what McDonnell did is no different than the conduct of the majority of other elected officials. Now those lawyers want all the recordings of grand jury testimony to fight the charges. The claims are giving us an intimate look into Bob and Maureen McDonnell's personal finances and also their life. Federal prosecutors say the former CEO of nutrition supplement company Star Scientific bought the former First family the designer clothes and gave them the loans to help with the couple's massive debt. WDBJ7's Joe DeShiel is here with a closer look at these charges. Joe.
Chris, the 40-page indictment is a fascinating read. It includes more information on the relationship between the McDonnells and Johnny Williams and the actions that federal prosecutors now allege amount to fraud. Bob McDonnell first met Johnny Williams during the 2009 campaign for governor, federal prosecutors say, when he began using an airplane owned by the Star Scientific CEO. Soon after the election, the indictment says Maureen McDonnell asked for help in finding a designer dress for the inauguration. When a senior aide to the governor objected, Maureen McDonnell responded in an email. "I need answers, and Bob is screaming about the thousands I'm charging up in credit card debt. We're broke, have an unconscionable amount in credit card debt already, and this inaugural is killing us." Williams did not buy that dress, but the indictment documents gifts and loans that followed over the next 3 years. A long list that included a Rolex watch for the governor, a $15,000 payment for catering at the wedding of McDonnell's daughter, and loans totaling more than $100,000. Investigators also detailed a number of occasions, including a reception at the governor's mansion, where prosecutors say the First Lady and the governor promoted the dietary supplement Anatablock that Star Scientific was launching. The indictment alleges the McDonald's defrauded the citizens of Virginia of their right to honest services by soliciting and accepting loans, gifts, and other things of value to legitimize, promote, and obtain research studies for Star Scientific's products. Roanoke attorney John Lichtenstein says the prosecution strategy is controversial, but the potential penalties are substantial.
Well, the allegations are serious, and the penalties that are possible are serious in the sense that they carry years' possibilities, not by any means certainties, but possibilities of federal penitentiary time.
And you can read the allegations for yourself. We've posted the entire indictment as well as the response from McDonald's attorneys on our website at WDBJ7.com. Joe DeShiel, WDBJ7.
Another former Virginia governor is talking about the charges against McDonnell and his wife. Current U.S. Senator Mark Warner says McDonnell did do some good things in office, but more needs to be done to keep this scandal and charges from happening again.
Governor McDonnell and I were of different parties, but there were a lot of things that his administration accomplished that I think serve Virginia well. We do need to ensure that there's more transparency and a clearer set of rules for all Virginia elected officials. And my hope is that Governor McAuliffe and the General Assembly can find common ground on that and get that resolved so there's not any kind of gray areas going forward.
It's a much tamer night for New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. The weather there forced organizers to cancel his inauguration party. Christie never mentioned the investigations into his administration after his swearing-in ceremony today. Two mayors are claiming people within his administration took political revenge for not supporting the governor's re-election and real estate projects. Today, Christie talked about moving forward with his policies rather than the investigations. New details on the shooting at Purdue University in Indiana. Police say the man killed in an electrical engineering building was a senior and a teaching assistant at the school. They also say the person who shot him this afternoon was also a student. Purdue police charged Cody Cousins with murder. Officers say they are trying to figure out why Cousins killed Andrew Bolt. No one else was hurt. One of the people relaying information to the media today was Purdue Provost Tim Sands. He will become Virginia Tech's president after the spring semester. New at 11, the Virginia Supreme Court has refused to reconsider its decision to throw out a wrongful death verdict against the state stemming from the 2007 Virginia Tech shootings. An attorney for the families of shooting victims Aaron Peterson and Julia Pride said he learned the news today. In March of 2012, a jury found that Virginia Tech should have issued more timely campus warnings after the first two victims were shot. The state Supreme Court overturned that verdict last October. It decided Tech administrators had no way of knowing the gunman planned to shoot even more people. New at 11, Roanoke city leaders are waiting a few more weeks to make a change to a rule on skateboards that was written back in the 1970s. Roanoke police say the current city code to control skating in public parks and plazas is too vague to enforce. The police chief says there's been thousands of dollars worth of damage to Elmwood Park's amphitheater ever since it reopened. He says they can't punish skaters because the current rule has loopholes.
Skateboarding is in the ordinance, but it's an interpretive situation because it said skates, etc. And so we defined, we wrote in skateboards, and even that could be ambiguous.
City leaders put off tonight's vote on whether to change that rule. They've asked staff to do some research and come back with new recommendations for a meeting in March. Also new at 11, a post office in Danville is back open after closing down for more than a month. Employees shut down the Main Street Post Office because it failed a safety and health inspection. Lead paint was the problem, but that's fixed now. Danville City Council signed a resolution asking for it to reopen because of the developing downtown area. Its hours are now 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The U.S. military is getting as close as they can to Russia as that country works to control security threats. Police aren't any closer to finding a possible terrorist already inside the safe zone. And the weather did some funny things around here today, but it has the potential to shut down entire cities up north.
The storm has intensified. We're expecting a greater volume of snow.
From your hometown news leader, WDBJ 7 continues.
It's a very serious storm.
The winter weather is shutting down cities further north. We just found out people in New Jersey and New York City are seeing more than 15 inches of snow on the ground right now. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio told people to stay inside as much as possible. He also told people to stay out of their cars so sanitation workers could do their jobs. Airlines have canceled thousands of flights. Schools and businesses closed early. Most of those schools will stay closed tomorrow. And of course, the latest school closings are up above my head for you. Now that the cold weather is here, people are making sure water pipes are protected to avoid a repeat of what happened to many of us 2 weeks ago. The last time temperatures reached into the teens, pipes burst at homes and at retirement communities like at Friendship Retirement. Low temperatures caused a pipe to burst on the 3rd floor. We talked with the staff there today. They said they had to take a look at all of their buildings to make sure nothing like that happens again. Russian police haven't found the woman they say is a Black Widow terrorist they think is inside the safe zone in Sochi for the Winter Olympic Games. Investigators say her husband was an Islamic terrorist that Russian security forces killed last year. They say the widow could be planning a suicide bombing attack. Today, Russian police killed a wanted Islamic militant leader in the Northern Caucasus. That region is becoming a center for militants planning attacks against the Olympics. Our Navy is sending 2 ships to patrol the Black Sea in case Americans need to evacuate. After more than 6 weeks at sea in an international rescue effort, dozens of people who were stranded in Antarctica are back on dry land. They docked on an island near Australia today. The group of more than 50 scientists, journalists, and tourists got stuck in heavy ice on Christmas Eve. A helicopter took the passengers to another ship, which just docked today. The crew stayed behind with the ship, but it has since made it to warmer waters. Democrats are close to taking control of the Virginia Senate with tonight's results of a special election in Loudoun County. Democrat Jennifer Wexton easily won tonight. She now takes the place of Mark Herring, who left the seat to be Attorney General. The state Senate is now split right down the middle. Democrat Lieutenant Governor Ralph Northam would break a tie. We are still waiting on the results of a recount to decide the 6th district seat left open by Lieutenant Governor Northam. A lot of high school kids get odd jobs to earn a little extra money. The student in Florida starred on a porn site to make ends meet. The school not happy about it. And new at 11, they've been doing this tradition for more than a century at Virginia Tech. It happened today, and it's not getting old anytime soon.
It's always fun to watch when you're not getting that thrown at you. It's been a long day. Some of you did not get the snow we called for. So up next, a sure thing. It gets cold, and it stays cold.
First Alert Weather from your hometown news leader, WDBJ-7.
So as the storm was winding up, Bath County, home of about 6 to 8 inches of snow. Allison Cutlip sent us a couple really nice pictures from Bath County today, and we appreciate that. That looks kind of nice. This not as much. We go up to New York, a little dark, but you can see that it is snowing. Snow is piled up on the ground, and there's warning signs flashing in the distance, telling motorists of the problems that they may be encountering over the next few hours. Here's what we'll be encountering over the next few hours. Everything that's shaded in blue is a wind chill concern. These are wind chill warnings because temperatures are going to be dropping down when you consider the wind and the cold temperatures on your exposed skin to around 0 degrees. There's still winter storm warnings off to the west, but everything now starts to focus in a little bit on more of the chill out there. We're kind of keeping an eye on these little late. In Bluefield tomorrow, a high of 20. Won't be anywhere near that in Hot Springs, just 12. 18 in Covington, Clifton Forge, and we keep the chill on over the entire WDBJ 7-day planner with a few flurries on Saturday. Otherwise, a mix of sun and clouds. Highs to average generally in the 20s and 30s. Overnight lows in the teens.
People in part of Minnesota's Zaya store's Martin Luther King Jr. Day tradition is out of line. The store advertised a special MLK Day sale yesterday. Customers could get 25% off anything in the store that was black. The owner says this is the 4th year she's done it and has never had any negative reactions. She says she was doing it out of an admiration of black culture, but eventually apologized for hurting anyone's feelings. A high school student in Florida is coming back to class after the school suspended him for performing in adult videos. Robert Marucci is 18. The school kicked him out of school shortly after students called attention to a porn site he's in. He says he did it to help his mother pay the bills. School leaders suspended him because they say it was a major disruption and threatened to bring weapons to school. He says none of that is true.
I didn't make any threats to anybody. I
I believe I handled every situation very maturely.
I think that it is Dr. Sullivan's morals and her personal beliefs, and I don't think that this is anybody's business except for my son's.
Students staged a walkout last Friday to get the school to change its mind. School leaders now say it was wrong to kick him out, and he can come back to class tomorrow. New at 11, there wasn't a lot of snow today, but it was big enough for a big old snowball fight. It was the annual Cadets versus Civilians fight right in the middle of the drill field at Virginia Tech. Thousands of students met near the middle today. Someone tossed that first snowball, and there you see the craziness ensued. It's been part of Tech's traditions since 1909, and it seems to get just a little bit bigger each year. Hey, that was a nice beard. That looks like Jenkins. Yeah, maybe not. He could have been throwing a couple ice balls in there. You got to watch out for those ice balls.
I think he got hit a couple times.
Or kids used to put rocks in them in my high school too. That's never good.
It looked like fun though.
Yeah, you got to be
safe.
safe out there.
Had some interesting tweets about it too.
Love the snowballs.
It's Christmas time in January for the football team at Jefferson Forest High School. Plus the Hokies have their new offensive line coach and a whole lot more. But first, our extra point. Quicken Loans is offering a $1 billion prize for the basketball fan who submits a perfect bracket for this year's NCAA basketball tournament. Billionaire investor Warren Buffett is the one actually betting the $1 billion. His company, Berkshire Hathaway, will pay out the prize if there's a winner. There are more than 9 quintillion possible ways to fill out the 64-team bracket.
Sports from your hometown news leader, WDBJ7.
After coaching for the past 17 years in the state of Georgia, former Jefferson Forest head football coach Bob Christmas is proving that you really can go home again. Christmas, who coached the likes of one-time UVA stars Anthony Poindexter and Jerton Evans, is coming back to JF to take over the program for a second time. Christmas spent 4 years at Bainbridge High School and 13 more at North Hall High School outside of Gainesville, Georgia. He's won 247 career games in a 38-year career. Christmas led Jefferson Forest to 3 state title game appearances, winning championships in 1992 and 1993. One reason for the move back was the fact that he has several children and grandchildren in the Lynchburg area. The Virginia Tech Hokies have a huge football recruiting weekend on tap with more than 20 prospects expected to visit campus. That comes on the heels of the news that former Texas offensive line coach Stacy Searles has been hired by the Hokies to take over the same job that was vacated last week when Jeff Grimes bolted for LSU. In addition to Texas, the 48-year-old Searles has worked at LSU, Georgia, Cincinnati, and Appalachian State. He was an All-American lineman as a player at Auburn. During his 3 seasons at Texas, the Longhorns were among the top 50 teams in the country rushing the football. Searles interviewed this weekend in Blacksburg, and Frank Beamer clearly moved quickly on the hire with National Signing Day just 2 weeks away. The official announcement should come from Tech over the next few days. Clay Campbell has a deal to go racing again in the ARCA Series next month at Daytona and at Talladega in May. The Martinsville Speedway president has partnered with Ken Schrader Racing for those 2 events, with Federated Auto Parts as the primary sponsor and Mountain Dew as an associate sponsor. This will mark the 2nd straight season that Campbell has run both Super Speedway events. He's welcomed Schrader across the stage at the Martinsville Speedway several times for Cup Series events. Now he'll get to join forces with the seasoned veteran. The Virginia Cavaliers are right in the thick of the ACC basketball race as the conference schedule approaches the halfway point. All 5 of UVA's ACC wins have been by double digits, including Monday night's 15-point decision over North Carolina. UVA's chemistry and balance have been off the charts in conference play, drawing some high praise from Heels skipper Roy Williams, whose team is clearly headed in the opposite direction.
Tony's just done a really, really good job. Tony and his staff do a great job, gotten everybody to buy into a certain role and understanding how he wants them to play, and he's done a much better job of that than I have.
All right, so if Carolina makes the field of 64 in that bracket, you probably don't want to pick them if you want that billion. Not playing so
What are they
well.
now in the ACC play? Like 1-5, something like that?
Not so good.
UVA doing well so
They are
far
playing
this
well.
year.
Yeah.
Joe Harris says they have their identity now.
He's filling it up too, shooting the ball really well.
He's doing really well. We're back after this. The list of the 25 absolute worst passwords is out. And there's a new one taking the top spot for 2013. Time reports that 123456 now outranks password, which is usually number 1. Rounding out the top 10 are more number sequences like 111, 111, and phrases like I love you. Splash Data, the company that gathers this information, says passwords that have numbers and letters are a good reminder you should not base passwords on the sites you use. There's one, Adobe 123. Yeah, if you're using Adobe, Probably shouldn't make it Adobe.
I love you is hard to type on a on a thing. I don't know that I would have done that anyway.
Yeah, I know. But who does 111111 or password?
We've got a couple people in there.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm absolutely sure. But I'm going to do 24, 23, 28. How about that for a password? For your highs for the next 3 days, the bottom numbers are what are a little concerning. That's right, cold, cold. And the outline areas, keep in mind, will be even colder than that.
Oh, and Thursday, 10. Will it maybe change and get down into the single digits for a low?
Maybe.
Maybe. Oh boy. Get ready for the freeze. Enjoy your night tonight, everyone. Be safe tomorrow as you're driving in the morning. Have a great night.